Okay, guys, I'm gonna do what so many people have not done in the past, because I know more people have ordered these damn crash bars. But I'm gonna try and help everybody out with step by step how to install these. Let me hop up and show, because apparently there's no videos on YouTube on how to install these crash bars. They are the I don't know if you want to call them the batwing style or like the cat head. Um, but it's these ones right here. Right? They kind of look like a cat when they're connected. So you get most people are complaining you get no instructions. I'm gonna try and walk it through it. I did manage to find this from MC Enterprises. It's actually for a different model, but somebody posted this on an Amazon review, which is the only way I'm getting these damn things on. So I'm just trying to pass it on. So this is for the Honda Shadow Sabres from 2000 to 2008, the VT 1100s. And this is the second sheet I got, which has a little picture diagram to kind of help out. Now, they actually did a great job with these instructions. They put a reference number for each one of the parts. It's really hard to see here. I pulled this off of an image from Amazon, and I tried to beef up the contrast, because believe me, the first one that I pulled up was like half the size of this page, so you couldn't even read it because of the size. And then the stuff was really light, so I went into Photoshop and bumped up the contrast and adjusted the levels to make the blacks blacker so you could try and read it. And so now it's pretty good. I will actually I'll go through and read these instructions at the end of all this, that way everybody can read that. But the big thing that gets everybody is these dang brackets. It doesn't show you where they go and how to hook them up. So let me go over that real quick. So you'll have to undo the top bolt on your radiator and the bottom bolt. And then, because I'm working by myself, it says you should just completely remove it to make it easier. But I just undid the top screw for the hose to pull this off. And there's my hose clamp. I better keep that for later. But yeah, so there's two bolts here. It's on the, you can see the back side where the new one's coming through. And that's where the engine mount is. You got to get to them from this side to undo them, and they're just these tiny little bolts. So you take these ones out, and then you're supplied with these larger ones, which are about 2 inches long, I'd say. And if you look in there, you can see these really thick spacers. They're about 1 inch thick. You got to put those spacers. So you got the bolt, and then you got the bracket, and these are two different sizes. There's a short one and a long one. Short one goes on the left hand side as you're sitting on the bike. So short one on the left hand side, long one over on the right hand side. And you're going to put there's a threaded side right here, and then this other side is a bigger hole than what this one is. So you put the threaded side facing towards the back of the motorcycle, and then the bigger hole, you put this bolt through it, and then you put that big 1 inch thick washer in it, and then you put those in, and you'll tighten them up. So this is the biggest issue I found when I was trying to get it matched up, but I will walk through each of the steps. I've already got my floorboard, or my steps removed. This is not the factory floorboard. That's actually a Rebel one that I've modified to fit on there. But I'll go through mounting it here as well. It actually goes into this bolt on this side. But yeah, you're gonna want to lay some stuff out, because you will leak some radiator fluid. All right, let's get back to it. All right, I did want to touch on one thing real quick. So these are the factory bolts that came out, but the ones that replaced it that come in the kit are like 2 inches long. So imagine these two as 2 inches long. This is the bolts that you get in your kit. This is the large bolt that holds the two pieces of the crash bar together. It comes attached to one of the crash bars when it first comes shipped to you. The rest of these are all loose. There is a thicker bolt here, which I have not gotten to where that one goes yet. There's two small, same size washers. There's two lock washers. And then this is a spacer. This is actually going to go in, I believe, on the passenger side because it goes onto your floorboard. Oop. I think it's actually on the driver's side, or on the right hand side. On the right hand side, I believe the crash bar connects into one of these, and then your spacer is going to go into the other spot. On this side, which is the left hand side, crash bar is going to go into that bolt. It won't actually touch this. This was taken off because I was trying to figure out how the heck these things went together until I finally figured this one out. So now that that's all settled, let's move on. I just wanted to say that before I went and put all these bolts in, and then you guys didn't get to see what they are. I also forgot to mention there's two larger spacers that are like 2.5 times the thickness of this. That's the ones that go in right here on the back side of the radiator mount. So you can see them. Ooh. You can see those two. This guy right here, and then the other one back there. So, and then those are the longer bolts I talked about. You'll take the short ones out right here, and then you'll drop these longer ones in with your brackets. Short one on the left hand side and the long one on the right hand side, with the threaded piece or the threaded hole facing back towards the motor. Okay, here's the left side completely put on. I ran the short bolts that come with it through here. I put the lock washer, then the washer, and then the fitting goes on there. And this is a threaded in one, so it just threads right into that other bracket. So I waited till I snugged this one up first, and then I tightened up this one here, and then I tightened up the one down here. You do not need to take this off if you don't want to, but when I took it off, it allowed me to go straight at the bolt instead of having to use a box wrench. But you can get a box wrench in there if you really wanted to. I took these two bolts off, this top one and that bottom one, and this whole linkage just came off. It was a lot easier to get to, and it only takes a second. If you do take this off, this is a long bolt. It runs through here. Oh, no, that's not the trouble one. When you take this one off, this is all, oh shoot. Forget what I said. You do have to take this off because this is a long bolt as well. So take this one out, take that one out, pull the floorboard out, or your shifter and everything out, and then you'll have to take this one out. This one runs all the way through into that rod, and when you take it out, this little spot back here is going to want to push out that way just a little bit, so when you go to thread it back in, you may have a little difficult time. What I did is I just grabbed something I can use as a pry bar, and I went up against that little notch where the screw hole is, and then pushed it against that metal, and then I just gave it a little bit of a push while I was threading in the bolt and pushing the bar backwards a little bit, which allowed it to push this part inward, and that lined up the bolt hole for me. It only goes off just a little bit, but if you have trouble getting it to thread back in, that's most likely what it is. So I hope that helps. Let's move on to the other side now. Alright, so for the right side, I had this bracket loosely mounted. This wasn't tight yet, and I got this one lined up in here. I dropped the bar in here. You have to take this bolt off, and there's one down below right there. Let me get focused in. So that one down there, and then this top one, both have to come out, and this whole assembly is going to come outward. So this bar from the frame, or from the crash bar, is actually going to go, and where's a good way to see it? Okay, I guess that's the best way. This is like a little nub. I don't even know if that. I think that's just forged metal or forged, yeah, forged steel. The way that is, it kind of looks like a grommet, but it's not. This engine guard is going to go flush up against that. So, if you can see there, this is the engine guard. That's the frame, and then after that, you're going to have all the equipment that was on it before, which is just like a bushing, and all this assembly stayed together, so I didn't have to worry about putting it all back in. I left the bolt somewhat in it so that it didn't drop everything out, and that helped out a lot. So you get that bar up in there. Once you get that in there and you have this twisted in, then you can come up here, and this should be lined up pretty well, but just put the bracket up to where you can see the hole. Once again, lock washer, flat washer, and then it goes into the threaded part on the back. So get that in the bottom part. This is that medium-sized washer that's in the pack. This is going in here to make up for, or to compensate for, the extra thickness you got right there. This bolt right here is the new bolt that came with the kit. It's the big thick one that's all by itself. There's no paired nut or bolt with it. So this is one you'll be swapping out the factory one for this bolt that came in the kit. It's, like I said, the big thick one. It's a 17 millimeter size head, and what I did is I lined up the bottom one first, got it in. Once I got it started on the threads, I got the top one lined up, and then tighten up the bottom one, then tighten up the top one, and it's all on nice and tight. Then down below you have, let's flip this up. So down here, this is a big Allen key, and that one is it's a 10 millimeter. So you need a 10 millimeter Allen key, a 17 millimeter socket for this one, 14 millimeter socket for this one, half-inch socket for these ones. These ones are 10 mil or 12 millimeter bolts. I accidentally stripped out one of mine because I originally thought they needed to go up in here. You can see I actually tapped that. That's when I was trying to figure them out. And but I went down to the hardware store and got this one to replace it. This is a what is it? 3/8 by 8, 3/8 18 thread count by 1 inch, I believe. Ugh. But, and the only reason my bike is on a lift right now is because I was going to make a video tutorial tonight about changing the front tire, and then I was going to put these crash bars on while I was at it, and I had something else I was going to put on. I forget what, but let's see here. So if you do accidentally do like I did and strip it out, this is what I got: a 5/16 18 thread per inch times 1 inch, so it was 1 inch long, and that's to replace this. And I got stainless steel so it didn't rust out or corrode. So it's all finished now. Don't mind this. This is one of those seatbelt cover things my wife just gave me. But yeah, so that's how it looks on there. Let's see if I can get a decent front view. Ignore all the junk, but man, that looks nice. To me, I got this because it kind of looks like a cat head, and I rescue cats. That's not my full-time job, it's just a volunteer thing I do. But I absolutely love it. I think it looks like a cat head, which is suiting me perfectly. As you can see, you do got some clearance here. If you get those really big floorboards, you may have an issue with that. I'll measure from here to there and see what we come out at. Alright, so it looks like we're coming out just shy, about 2 7/8 inches from the bar. It might be at 3. It's a tough call. Looking at it from here, it looks like we're at 3, but I would play it safe and say 2 3/4. Looks like that's the distance from there. I mean, at least a safe distance if you're doing floorboards. So you got about 2 3/4 inches from that peg outward. These are little Rebel ones that I put on. I seen on Amazon. Thought they were cool. I just had to shave off. If you see on the inside there, I shaved off the straight parts on it, and it works. And I did that so that it would kick up. Otherwise, it was just stuck there, and I didn't like that idea. So I hope this helps everyone else out, man. It was a pain in the ass for me to find instructions on this, and I could not find anything online. So I'm hoping this helps everybody else out. If you do like it, appreciate it, like and subscribe down below. This is going on my YouTube, this is going on my TikTok, so hopefully it can reach as many people as possible.